My daughter called me crying from school because her friend was crying to her. Her dad just got transferred at the local General Motors plant. The kids had to move.
Yeah.
And my daughter called me and she said, "You got to do something." And I said, "I'm going to do something. And I'm going to run for president of the United States. And we're going to make sure this doesn't happen."
He's running now, Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio, and he joins us live this morning. Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's pick up where you left off on The View. There's a lot behind the closing of plants like Lordstown, long-term trends in the global economy. President Trump made those same kind of promises. What can you do that hasn't been done?
Well, we need an industrial policy in the United States. We need to sit down with the business community. We need to sit down with the educational community and use the tax code and figure out how we rebuild the industrial base in the United States. There's plenty of opportunities out there. Take electric vehicles, for example. We've made 1 to 2 million electric vehicles today. There's going to be 30 million made by 2030. Who's going to make them? I want those made in the United States, George. I want the batteries made in the United States. I want the charging stations made in the United States. It's the President of the United States who needs to convene, sit down with the big three, sit down with the Department of Energy, put a big plan together, and then cut the workers in on the deal so they could actually make a middle-class wage. China today dominates the electric vehicle market. They control 40% of it. So we got some work to do, and it starts in the White House.
That's one sector of the economy. When you look at the overall economy right now, several months of straight of job growth, years of job growth, actually lowest unemployment we've seen in a generation. Right now, most polls show that a majority of the country believe the economy's doing well and giving President Trump some credit. So is this the best ground to challenge him on?
Well, it's not doing well where I come from, and it's not doing well in a lot of places around the country. You know, we talk about increasing the minimum wage, George. People used to make 30, 40 bucks an hour. Yeah, the unemployment rate's low. People are working, 1, 2, 3 jobs to try to make ends meet. The average family, 40 to 50% of families in the United States, can't withstand a $400 or $500 emergency. My campaign and my behavior as president is going to be to rebuild the middle class in the United States. People are tired of just getting by. They're tired of just surviving. They want to thrive. They want their kids to thrive. And we've got to stop talking about the minimums. We got to figure out how we create an economy in healthcare, in energy, in manufacturing, where people can make 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour. That's the American dream. We've got to rebuild it. So yeah, the unemployment's low. The stock market is high, but yet the national stress level is probably as high as it's ever been. The national anxiety level is about as high as it's ever been.
You support the Green New Deal. You support Medicare for all. We heard the Senate Republican leader this week, Mitch McConnell, say they're going to make the election a referendum on socialism. You worried that policies like that will make Democrats vulnerable?
Not at all. And look, we need a public option for people to be able to get health care in the United States. So we've got to fix that. And when you talk about the Green New Deal, I support a Green New Deal, which means we've got to reverse what's happening with our climate. And that could mean jobs in places like Youngstown, Ohio, and the industrial Midwest, because there's so much that needs to be manufactured. Again, electric vehicles, solar, wind, where there's 800 component parts to a wind turbine. That's manufacturing jobs, and an agenda that can both reverse global warming and climate change and create manufacturing jobs is something I'm going to support. And making sure people have access to affordable health care is something that I'm going to be for, too. But look, I think this health care discussion is actually the wrong discussion. 75% of health care costs today come from chronic diseases that are actually preventable. So we need to completely transform our health care system, where we're incentivizing doctors and patients and health care providers to actually keep people healthy. We just don't want health care for people when they get sick. Of course we want that. We want a health care system that actually keeps people healthy. And that's the transformational approach I'm going to take. And I would just say, if people are supportive of this, go to timryanforamerica.com, because we're going to build a new agenda for this country and rebuild the middle class.
You got the plug in there. You know, you failed in your bid to take on Nancy Pelosi as Democratic leader after the 2016 election, initially opposed her bid for Speaker as well. Was that a mistake, and what did you learn from it?
No, I don't think it was a mistake. Let me say, Nancy Pelosi is a historic figure. I think she's running circles around Donald Trump right now, and not just protecting the interests of the people of the country, but really protecting the integrity of Article 1 of the Constitution, the House of Representatives. She's making sure that the power remains in that chamber, which I think is really important. And my pitch 2 years ago and again this year was that the Democrats, we need a new generation of leadership. We need new people to come in and be leaders in our party. And I will say that we've had a lot of success over the last 2 years. We now have Hakeem Jeffries in House leadership, great young leader, Catherine Clark. We've got Sherry Bustos, Ben Ray Lujan. We've got a variety of Dan Kildee, a bunch of new younger leaders who have emerged because we pressured it. It was a family discussion. I've got the utmost respect for Nancy Pelosi, and now we've got new leaders in place too. So we're ready to turn the page and move on.
Congressman Ryan, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.